The most successful people in your life are the best at sales. Now, you might not notice it, but we are always selling something. We do it when we're trying to make friends. We do it when we're dating. We do it when we're trying to get a job. And the most obvious one is when we're in business. An example I like is when Barack Obama was applying for the job of president. He sold very well hope and change, and he won an entire election based off selling himself. As a matter of fact, sales is one of the first skills you had to learn as a kid. You had to sell your parents to get you whatever it was that you wanted from them. And knowing how crucial sales skills are is the very reason why I became a sales trainer. If you hate selling, you're going to struggle in life. Literally everything you do in life revolves around sales.
Shout out to Steve Trang.
If you're new to this channel, I'm Steve Trang, nationally recognized sales trainer, real estate wholesaler and flipper, podcaster, YouTuber. I own a brokerage, a title company, houses, apartments, and I own a bank.
Let's take work for an example. As an administrator, you might feel like you're not selling anything. You might not be selling a product, but the reality is you need to sell your idea. You need to convince others why they need to go with your idea, your vision, your policy, your procedure, why we need to go with option A versus option B. If you can't sell why your idea is the better idea, then no one will ever go with your idea. Basically, they'll never listen to you. Growing up, I remember hearing my parents often complaining that they got passed over for a promotion, passed over for a raise. And what they attributed to was that they weren't very social people. So I kind of thought when I get into the workplace, I will be very intentional about letting everyone know what it is I do around the company. In as many situations as possible, I would let other people know what it was I did for that project, for that assignment, whatever it was. Let everyone know my involvement. I very rarely ever worked after 5 p.m. But you better believe if I ever had to work late, I was sending emails to let everyone know I was working at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., whatever. If I was working on something late, everybody knew about it. The truth of the matter was, I was not the most enthusiastic employee. I got my work done, I got it done on time, and I got it done well. However, I was never really that hard of a worker. So looking back, the most I ever worked was in our annual reviews, because that was the time where I was able to sell to the company how valuable I was, why I needed a promotion, why I needed a raise, and so on. So I often looked at preparing my reviews as the single best return on time for myself as an employee. Sales also applies to dating, but not in that you're selling yourself. Really, you're applying a different facet of sales. You're playing hard to get. If you think about all those bad boys that got the girls when the good boys couldn't, it's because the good boys were readily available and the bad boys couldn't care less about the girls. And because they just didn't care about the girls found them irresistible. In sales, we refer to this as taking it away. When you're taking away the offer, when you're taking away the option to do business with us, we actually become more attractive. And so in dating, we're taking it away by playing hard to get. And as I referenced earlier, kids are learning sales at a very early age. Take my daughter, for example. We were at the mall and she wanted pretzels. And I must have told her no about 20, 30 times at the mall in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. And she kept asking and I kept saying no. And eventually I relented and gave her pretzels. Definitely set a bad precedent, but that's the reason why kids are so good at sales. You could never deepen your relationships until you get better at sales. People often think of sales as trying to close the other person. In reality, selling is to serve the other person. And in order to serve the other person, you need to be a great listener. The best salespeople on the planet are also the best listeners. And so when you want to deepen your relationships, you need to actively, purposely, proactively listen to the other person. And the best way to demonstrate that is to actually mirror what the other person is saying. If someone's telling you how they're having a bad day, let them know. It sounds like you're having a really bad day. And they'll appreciate it. And because you're listening, they'll feel better about the situation. For example, if someone's having a really bad day, just share that observation with them. Seems like you're having a really bad day. And after you've done that, they'll appreciate that you are paying attention, further deepening your relationship with them. One of the most common challenges I see all the time is that one person is not listening to the other person. I'll give you an example. When my wife used to tell me that she had nothing to wear, I took that as she had nothing to wear, when in reality, she had nothing to wear that was appropriate for this occasion and this particular season. So I was not listening actively and intently. I just heard the words and tried to fix it immediately. It wasn't for a couple of years until I figured out, hey, listen to the words, repeat it back to her, and find out what it truly means. And that's when our marriage got stronger. Salespeople are probably the highest paid people at your company. I've consulted with a lot of companies, and one of the most common mistakes I see is the owner of the company sees how much a salesperson is making, and they're a little bitter about it. And a common mistake I see is that because the salesperson is making too much, they'll adjust the compensation plan, resulting in the salesperson make less money, which is a very short-sighted move because what happens is after they adjust the compensation, the salesperson leaves. And now, where's the revenue coming from? So like it or not, the salesperson makes the most of the company and they deserve it. Why? Because they're the ones actively bringing income into the company. I'm not saying it's the most valuable skill. Marketing is important, finance is important, research and development is important, taking the risk for the company, keeping the lights on is important. I'm not disregarding any of those things. But the fact of the matter is, the salesperson is the last line before the revenue comes into the company, and the salespeople often have to deal with other people. The salespeople are the last step before revenue comes into the company. And here's the thing, the salespeople actually have the most uncomfortable job because they have to go out there, hunt, and close people. And so if you want to make more money, what you want to do is get better at sales because you're going to be the highest paid person at your company. Hopefully by now, I've sold you on the importance of sales. If you want to get better at sales, comment below, reach out to us, and please don't forget to subscribe.